Good morning, everybody. Well, it seems like things are buzzing in Pima County, Arizona again today. And before I begin, I want to state that none of the information in this report comes directly from Pima County Sheriff's Department or any law enforcement agency that I have been able to obtain. There may be records of this, but I personally do not have them. All the details that I have are based on publicly available media reporting, booking records, court filings, and statements made by involved parties. According to multiple mainstream media outlets, including KOLD Tucson, KTAR News, CBS News, and TMZ, official Pima County Sheriff's Department booking records and interim court complaints filed on June 11th show that deputies arrested Livestreamer Alex Zabel Jr. following multiple calls classified as suspicious activity, trespassing, public nuisance outside of the Nancy Guthrie home, who was abducted on February 1st. The reporting party listed on these reports is through the law enforcement records, which I personally have not seen, indicates the calls were made by Savannah Guthrie. This is the name that appears in the police documentation obtained by several media outlets, and I believe it was also on the records that were obtained by Alex Zabel himself. However, it is not confirmed whether the caller was truly Savannah Guthrie, or whether someone may have used her name when contacting law enforcement, possibly trying to impersonate her or her voice. Dispatch records reflect the name provided by the caller, the times of the calls, but they do not independently verify the identity. Impersonating a private citizen or public figure in a police report would constitute a criminal offense. It is alleged that Alex Zabel from Criminal Network acknowledged that the report lists Savannah Guthrie as the reporting party, but he questioned himself whether the caller was genuinely her. And I am sure if it was Savannah Guthrie, that Alex would really like to know that it was her and have clarification of this, because he has put many hours and days of his life into following the Nancy Guthrie case. He's done physical searches for Nancy Guthrie. So it's very unfortunate that if these calls were actually made by Savannah and not somebody impersonating her, that she's targeting somebody that truly cared about finding out the truth of what happened to her mother. Which brings up the speculation of why would she want the truth not to be brought forth? Anyway, we don't know, or I don't know, I should say, if those calls were exactly coming from Savannah Guthrie. There are several other sources out there that are indicating that YouTube streamers are being threatened. They're getting different phone calls from several different people, and somebody could actually be impersonating Savannah Guthrie. That is not out of the question at this time. Media outlets have also reported that Savannah Guthrie contacted law enforcement on June 11th after discovering that a controversial live streamer known as Criminal Network was broadcasting from directly outside her mother's home. This incident occurred amid what local outlets have described as an army of YouTubers gathering in the Catalina Foothills neighborhood, live streaming, speculating, and disrupting the area since February, which I'm going to give a personal comment right there and include the fact that as of recent days and over the last month, there has not been an army of YouTubers out in front of the Nancy Guthrie home or in the Catalina Foothills. Streamers have been streaming from their home, from other locations, from the Sheriff's Department parking lot. So I would say in the last month we've probably had 2 at most in the Catalina Foothills area or in front of Nancy Guthrie's home. So that is not factual information that's being stated through the media, Main Street media, I may add. Multiple online sleuths and live streamers have been arrested or cited near the crime scene for trespassing, interference, and public nuisance violations. The Pima County Sheriff's Department has expressed growing frustration with the disruptions and disturbances. Where the source of all these calls have come from is still not 100% confirmed. However, live streamers and the public in general have several opinions of where the calls have been generated from. The investigation into Nancy Guthrie's disappearance remains active. Law enforcement sources recently disclosed the contents of a second ransom note received in February, which claimed Nancy had died shortly after her abduction. Savannah Guthrie has continued to plead publicly for anyone with verified information to contact the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI. So that's my conclusion of that situation. What is true and what is not true, I do not have all the facts on. If anybody else has actual evidence of a police report showing that Savannah Guthrie made those calls, I would think that somehow they could verify where the calls were generated from. Did they physically come from New York, where Savannah's located, or were they done with a burner phone? But I would think somehow they could trace if this was an actual call from Savannah Guthrie or calls. Regardless, that's a situation. It's not a pleasant one, and it's one of those, is this fact or fiction? Thank you, everybody. Have a great day, and as always, stay safe.